I mean, we've fucked up so many times over the last 12 months,
Yeah.
but like, honest, we have. But every single time it's like taught us something. It's improved the business. It's improved us as women as well. So it's this whole idea of like, we are on the playing field and we're not there just to be there. Like, we want to win. Like, if that means like getting hit a million times by, you know, whatever's coming our way, then so be it. But we're just going to keep on getting back up and going again.
Wow, Rose! Wow, Rose!
Ellie and Em for the Limitless CEO. Oh my God. Welcome.
Hi. Good evening.
It is. Oh my God. Awkward intro. It was, it's 6 a.m. here in Australia and I'm not a morning person usually. Paula is. Paula's amazing. She gets up really early. I had my time getting up early with little kids. My kids are big now. Like, one's left home. Mine are 18 and 20. So I'm like at the sleep into whenever you want to stage, you know. So welcome. You guys are both mamas as well. You guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, well, it's like gone
We're
9
so
p.m. We're in England, so it's gone 9 p.m. here. And actually, we should probably confess we are morning people. So this could be really interesting if you're not a morning person.
There you go.
But I'm normally in bed by now. Well, I'm in my pajamas. I'm in my robe. I've got my cup of
Do you notice
tea.
our matching robes that we're wearing?
Oh, that's so cute.
Different colours.
Beautiful.
We're having a pajama party.
Yeah.
We're having a pajama party.
We have an awkward question time at the beginning of each of our, which we didn't prepare you for.
Now you tell us.
Blood just drained from their face.
Oh no. I have really dodgy Wi-Fi. I might suddenly like disappear.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Deepest, darkest North Yorkshire.
Oh, that's cool. Listen, it's not as bad as you think. Did you want to ask it, Paula? Or you want me to ask?
Sure, I'll ask the question. So,
Cool.
Hashtag awkward question time. What was the most inappropriate song that you used to love as a child?
Inappropriate. Probably Kylie Minogue, Locomotion. That's probably about as far as I went to an all-girls boarding school, so we weren't allowed to listen to music. That was the only record we had.
Oh, really?
Oh my God.
No,
Do you know what? How funny.
Maybe
Do you know what
Wow.
mine was? I loved that song from Pulp Fiction, you know, at the beginning but when the music starts and it blares out really, really loudly and it's like, idiots, you fucking pricks, blah, 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 and start shouting. Do you know the one I mean?
The Scooby Snack song.
I was a dancer growing up and we had a whole dance routine to that song, but the beginning, whenever you like turned it on, you just get this like massive swearing and abuse and things at the beginning.
Yeah, when he stands up in the restaurant and they're about to rob the place.
Yeah.
Yes,
That one.
Oh, that was such a good song.
Yeah.
I think that just really highlights one of the things that you'll probably know about Em and I is that, or you'll get to know about Em and I, is that we are complete equal and opposites apart from one thing. So Em's an amazing dancer. I really cannot dance, you know. There's only one thing that we're not very good at together.
So
we have to guess what that is. But otherwise, she's good at something and I'm bad at it, or I'm good at it and she's bad at it.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, we're complete opposites.
Yeah.
But like in a really complimentary way.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Do you guys, are you into human design at all?
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically our charts, our two human design charts, if you overlay them together, they complete.
Get out of town.
No, she completes me.
She completes me.
Yeah, seriously.
We were working with Jack and Rob of Wild Femme at the time, and this was the first kind of like thing we got into human design, and we sent our charts off and Jack was like, no way. She was like, you click. No wonder you work together. She was like, you can overlay and you just completely complete each other.
That's brilliant.
Wow. Yeah, my husband and I are both generators, but we're very different. And when we had our charts read, we complement each other with our energies. Like there's where mine is open, his is defined, and vice versa. So even though we're both generators and he's an emotional authority and I'm sacral, and we've got, and not to get this all about human design, but like my energy is very much like a projector, but I'm a generator. So a lot of people are actually confused by me. They're like, oh, I thought you would have been a projector, but we have 2 projected children as well. So I'm like, I guess that's why I'm here to raise some projectors. So
Yeah.
M's a projector.
I'm a projector with an emotional authority, and Ali is a generator with a sacral authority.
Yeah.
Very
Wow. That is so
opening up a whole new
cool.
world. It's amazing. The whole. I'm actually taking a qualification in it now so that we can bring it more into our business, into our world, work with our clients, because we've learned so much about it and just found it's been really helpful for us in the way that we run our lives, the way that we run our businesses, and just, I mean, I find the whole thing very, very fascinating. My spiritual journey started about 10 years ago, and then I've just been completely opened up to being a sponge to anything like that. So
Yeah,
I love
that's
it.
beautiful. It is great. I've got a funny relationship with HD. I can't retain it. I can't retain the information for some reason. Like, give me anything and I sponge it, but HD, I'm not sure. But maybe it's just, that I'm not taking much notice of it. It's really difficult because I would really love to know what my partner's design is, but he's adopted, and so we don't have details. And it's, so it's like, we could guess. It's interesting. It does fascinate me for sure, but I just can't retain all the information with it.
Maybe that's in your design. Not to
maybe I'm a man.
Maybe you don't have that channel.
Yeah.
We don't know all my details because my mum died sadly 6 years ago, and when I asked my dad what time was I born, he said, well, it must have been about lunchtime because they took me out of the operating theatre because your mum was dying and gave me a roast dinner. And I was like, what?
Oh my god. Oh wow.
She was fine in the end. They brought her round to life. I mean, she survived obviously, but he couldn't remember. He just knew it was a really traumatic time. There was an awful lot of blood, and he just remembered being given a roast dinner to get him out the way. So it could be any time between 10 in the morning and 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Like, what do we do with that?
Is he sure it wasn't dinner?
I don't think he really knows.
Did you have a song, Paula?
I had an entire album. So this was when I was 9, and when I was thinking about this, my daughter's 8, and I would be horrified. So when I was 9, the album Blood Sugar Sex Magic by the Red Hot Chili Peppers came out, and my parents bought it for me on cassette tape for Christmas. And every Christmas we used to drive, since we still go, ever since I was born, we used to drive to Forrester, where my mum's family lives, which is about 3.5, 4 hours north of where we grew up. And so for that amount of time in the car, I have my Walkman on and the cassette tape in, headphones in, and I was singing along to this song the whole time. And I remember my mum stopping me after like the second song. She's like, what are you singing? And I was like, oh, the tape that you got me for Christmas. And she was like, what do we do? And to this day, it's still one of my favorite albums, but highly inappropriate for a 9-year-old to be singing.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I led a very sheltered life. It's like my teenage sons now.
Yeah.
The filth that comes out of their mouth, I'm like, I beg your pardon.
It was acceptable in the 80s though, wasn't it? Lots of stuff was.
Yeah.
There was no lines. Like,
nah, not at all.
Yeah.
Nah.
Highly inappropriate.
Highly inappropriate. Not the words in the language of a limitless CEO.
Great segue. All right, so tell us about the Limitless CEO and changing the stereotypes, redefining what a CEO is for a woman.
Should we start at the beginning, Em? Because we've had quite a fun week, really, this week. We've done quite a bit of reflecting, haven't we? In terms of in the last 12 months. So we started working as a duo 12 months ago. just 12 months ago.
Wow.
And we launched the Limitless CEO brand at the end of August last year. So what's that, 7-8 months? So we've only been a duo pair for 2 years, but we just did our sums and our end of annual accounts yesterday, and we flipped over the multiple six-figure brands for first year in business. So we're like celebrating that really, really hard. So we went from zero to multiple six figures in just 12 months.
Wow.
Holy moly.
Yeah.
That is incredible. What are you going to do to celebrate?
We're in our pajamas. With you.
Yeah, this is our celebration.
Oh, I love it.
And I went blonde. I decided we needed to celebrate by going back to blonde, but
you got the best style. It's cool.
I guess we should probably
go back in time a bit further.
Yeah, we should probably go back a little bit further, because actually when we first met, we were speaking together on a panel at a UK Health Coaches Association together. And I showed up and I just found out I was pregnant the day before, and I was feeling really queasy, thinking, oh my God, I'm going to have to step on stage. And this lady came bounding up to me and gave me this huge hug, and she was wearing these red sequin trousers, and it was Ali. And she was there the whole time next to me, like, are you okay? Are you okay? Like, you're not going to faint or anything like that. And then she got stuck on her chair because her bum got so sweaty in these trousers, I had to like peel her off. So I guess our bond was kind of like made there and then, between like sickness, pregnancy, and sticky sequin trousers. And it was probably like a few months later, wasn't it? Ali phoned me up, and at the time she was running a health coaching business and I was a business strategist, and I had my own coaching business. So we both had our own individual businesses before we came together. She's like, I need help growing my coaching business. Are you up for it? I was like, hell yes. Yeah, absolutely. And
crazy woman in red trousers. Oh yeah, I'll give you a go.
Yeah, dream client. And that was Christmas 2019, and we started working together early 2020, and like mapped out this plan. Like we were all over it, like Ali being Ali, storming ahead with everything that we were planning to do. And then of course the pandemic hit, and it was like, oh, okay, right, what are we going to do here? Like this plan's not going to work. We're going to have to massively power pivot here and do something different. And we did. And Ali's business literally just kept going from strength to strength. And within 9 months, she was hitting 10K a month. A few months later, she was hitting 20K a month. A month later, she was hitting 30K a month. We were like, holy shit, like together, we're amazing. What do we do? Like, my strategy, her mindset and energetics, it was like fireworks went off.
I think we have to thank my husband really, because it was in that, after I got back from that conference and I came home and goes, Ali, look, you're really good at what you're doing, but you're making absolutely no money at all. It's just a fucking expensive hobby. So you can either give it up and go back to consulting in corporate, or you start making some money. And I was like, oh, okay then. So that's when I rang Em and I was like, right, we need to make some money here. Yeah. And I'm completely like fluid and flowy and I hate accounting and hate spreadsheets. I lived my whole corporate life in budgets and actuals and plans, so that I kind of like went completely the opposite when I was doing my health coaching, and was just like going with the flow, and then happiness and life and spirituality all took over. So I was like, I don't need to know about the numbers. So when my husband was like, what are you doing and how is it going? And then I was like, oh my God, Em, do you realize how much money I made last month? And she was like, no. And I was like, 11 grand. Like, we were like, what? How did you not know? And I was like, well, I just don't count. It's not fucking counting.
And then I just kept getting an update every month, and it just kept going up and up and up. And I was like, well, yeah. Wow. So, yeah, that's happening. And then it was like beginning of 2021. We noticed like it was getting like a lot of attention. Lots of people were watching, and we're like, why don't we share what we've done here? Why don't we actually like come together and actually share like that whole strategic roadmap, everything that we've done together to get to that place? And we hosted this webinar, and it was all for around like wellness businesses. It was called Wellness Business Mastery, and it was basically the story of Ali's journey and us coaching together. And we had hundreds of women join this webinar, and off the back of that we launched our first program together, and had 20 women take that program the first time round. And it just kind of went took on a life of its own, really, didn't it? We just realized that we actually had something really special working together as a duo, because that having like that strategic piece and the energetics piece just worked like so beautifully together with that masculine and feminine blend.
And the women loved it. The women in that first program, you know, they still got their own like little connection group. They're still together, still supporting each other. And that just felt really, really good. That creating bonds of women and seeing them collaborate and doing work together was, you know, quite simply amazing. And it was towards the end of that program, because it was a 16-week program. I was sat on a yacht in Greece. We managed to get one of the first flights out of the UK after a pandemic. I was lucky enough to get out, and was sat at home with a very poorly baby, and she wasn't feeling very well at all. And I was sat on I remember exactly where we were. We were in Antipaxos, and it was in one of the most beautiful blue lagoons. You could see the floor. It was just absolutely amazing. And I was chatting to Em, who was there with this awful sinus problem, and we were like, that was amazing. Shall we do it together? Shall we do it? Are you in? Are we in? And it was just like, are we in? And I was like, and my sacral was like, I'm fucking in. I'm jumping in. I'm in. And I was like, oh, but I'm not quite sure I am in, but I just feel so awful. I feel terrible. Can you just give me a moment? Let my kind of emotional authority kind of like really be an all in. And I was like, yeah, but do fucking hurry up, will you? Because I'm ready.
It was like that awkward moment where you start dating with somebody and you don't want to say, are we actually girlfriend and boyfriend or are we not?
Oh, yeah. That's funny. That's good.
But I was 100% all in. I think I was just all in, but very poorly.
Yeah. It's hard to make decisions when you're feeling that unwell.
My husband's emotional and I'm sacral. So I'm like when I was like, let's travel around Australia in a caravan. Let's go now. And he's like, yeah. Okay.
Maybe.
So I know that energy. My line is, let me think about this and I'll come back to you.
Yeah, that's my husband's too. And I'm like, yeah, no, but like, hurry up, please, because I want to go now.
Yeah, this is us. This is how we make every decision in the business. Like I say to Ali, okay, is it a hell yes or a hell no? She's like, it's a hell yes. I'm like, okay, cool. All right, let me just think about it, and then I'll come back in like a few hours or a few days or however long it takes. But we always get there in the end.
Yeah.
She's very patient with me.
That's brilliant. So how has it been for 12, like your duo and you're working together for 12 months? How has it been? Warts and all?
Warts and all. It's been a wild ride, I would say. I don't know where the 12 months has gone because so much has happened. It feels like we filled a lifetime in 12 months, really.
Yeah.
You know, there's one thing I would say about Em and I. We went into this and there has been no plan B. This is it. And we've had some really sticky times and just been like, oh my God, are we really doing this? Are we going to do this? And it's like, well, we don't have a plan B. So there's no other option. Let's find a solution to make this work. Let's, dig deep and let's get on with it. But I suppose in a sense, like Em's been saying, she's got the strategy and I've got the energetics. And it's just like, right, let's get us aligned with where we're going. I'll get us aligned to that. Because Em's brilliant visionary. So she'll be like, right, we're going here. I'll be like, right, I'll align us energetically. You build the roadmap and let's just fucking go.
Mm-hmm.
And we've done that quite a few times. We've had to reinvent ourselves quite a few times because we had such rapid growth right at the beginning.
Yeah.
Like it was like we created the first 6 figures in less than 6 months. So that was just like nuts. That was just without even really realizing it that we'd done it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was definitely been some like growing pains along the way, I think, as well, with like the speed at which we were going. It was like we were on this really like rapid mission.
Like systems. Oh my God, systems gives us the goddamn headache every day. Yesterday we came onto Zoom and we had to like find a passcode, but nobody knew where the email was. It was like, how do we get onto our Zoom?
I think we've had to navigate a lot over the 12 months that we've been building this. Like every possible scenario, I think, that could have been thrown at us along the way has been thrown at us at some point. And I feel like it's like we constantly say like it's just like us with the universe the whole time. Like, oh, okay, what's the lesson this time? What are you going to smack us in the face with this time? Okay, cool, right. Okay, and next, move on. And like we kind of it's got a bit of a joke now where we're literally like,
slap in the face.
Seriously, is that all you've got to throw at us? Because you don't know these women if you think that's going to stop us. But it's we've definitely had a lot between poorly babies,
Yeah.
Ali's 2 teenage boys, and all of the
You
dramas.
keep breaking bones. I mean, my God, the number of times they break bones is utterly ridiculous. Yes,
Oh,
I've got to go back to
really?
school and go and get, the rugby players who've had that. We've both got husbands who've got really highly, very ambitious, got their own kind of like stresses. So holding that, and I'm sure you both know that with partners in your lives, it's like, oh my God, I think when you come into a business as a woman, you have to remember that everything that's happening in your life comes into your business too, and everything in your business then also goes back out into your life. It's
Totally.
very hard to kind of like separate each bit as they are. It's how do I manage and hold a bit? And we often say, well, we've got to hold a bag of shit in one hand and a bag of diamonds in the other, and know that we can hold the two together as we go forward. It's okay. And we can choose to look at the shit and deal with the shit when we're ready to deal with the shit, but let's focus on the diamonds right now, and let's focus on that, and let's grow more diamonds, and that will help us deal with the shit. But it's just about, we can handle both at the same time. And I think we're really lucky we've got each other to prop each other up. That's one amazing thing about working in a duo. There's somebody always there on the end of the phone to say, oh my God, this is happening,
Yeah.
And we hold each other.
That's the special part, isn't it? Really, to be able to have someone there that's going to lift you up when you're falling, like, and to be able to celebrate you when there's no one else around to celebrate you. But that to me is a magical part of it, because you're never really flatlining and never stable with your energetics, with where you're at, and just like there's either one, like Paula and I, like either one of us are like up here and one's down here, and we just seem to be able to, hold each other up. So I think that's a beautiful part of being a duo.
Yeah. I remember I went through a really difficult time in my marriage, and I separated from my husband in 2016, and we were working with an incredible coach at the time, NLP coach and marriage counselor. And she said, in marriage, you have to bring 100%, both of you, all at the same time, always. And if you can bring in more, you bring in more. It's not about coming into a partnership as 50-50, because if one of you drops 50, then you've only got 50% in.
Yeah.
And so when Em and I came into this, it's like, this is a marriage and we're both in it 100%. This isn't like me being able to slack off and only put in 50% and Em give 50% to make the 100. This is like, we're both all in 100%. Our clients get 200%. People in our world get 200%. Both of us in our power all the time. And if something happens, one of us is going to drop 20%, then you're still going to get 180.
Love that.
That's so good.
So cool. Yeah. Amazing.
So for marriage and business, there we go. There were a little bit of counselling guidance there.
There we go. Couple of gold nuggets.
I think we've had other people say, oh God, we wish, and say to me, oh God, I wish I had an M, or people come to M and say, oh, I wish I had an Ali. And that's like, oh, I wish I had one of those people say that I could just lean off and just relax a bit. And that's really not the case, because in a duo, as wonderful as it is, you've still got two energies to hold. You've still got two families to hold. I have to wait for M's goddamn emotional authority before I can make a move,
And I have to hang on to the reins, because she's already off there doing something.
So there's a lot of different energies.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different energies.
I think people think it's easier, don't they? They say like, oh, it's easier for you because there's two of you. Actually, it's not easier because there's two of us. There's two of, there's like two of all the great stuff, but there's also like two of everything else to manage, like in our decisions, in our in our emotions, in our honoring both of our energies. It's all of that. So it's been amazing. Like,
wouldn't change it.
Wouldn't change it for the world, but it's it's been turbulent over the 12 months, just with everything else that's going on alongside the growth as well.
Yeah, cool. Because like I was reading your bios and what you have on like your website and stuff. Man, I love that setup, by the way. It's just like no Ali, no M, that part where you actually shared a bit about your life. And you guys, like both of you, and I'm not sure whether this is before you had met, but you've been through some pretty tough shit.
Yeah, but I think, all of that tough shit that we've both been through, they're very similar stories in a lot of it. A lot of our health issues were the same. loads of different traumas that we've been through. But I think in looking at that, and one of the things that Em and I were talking about yesterday, it was like, oh my God, how have we got through the last 12 months on such a fast roller coaster ride? And the things that really stood out for us, that we've got absolute grit, determination, we've got stamina, we've got resilience and tenacity, and there's no fucking way we're getting off the roller coaster. We're just going to keep going and keep going and keep going. But that's because we've had so much stuff that we've had to deal with earlier on in our lives that it's like, well, why not? Let's just do this. We've been through the worst that life can throw at us. So what's going to happen? We might derail a bit, and there might be some really crappy things that happen in any business. But do you know what? That's not the worst. We've been through the worst.
That's the thing. Now it's all about what's the best that can happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
And let's just keep making it better.
Yeah.
Can't wait for this next year. What's going to happen next year?
Yeah.
The best is yet to come. That's like our thing. Like, oh, this is amazing, but the best is yet to come.
Exactly.
So it's like that kind of feeling that you can be really grateful for where you are right now and still be moving forwards towards something better as well.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. I love how you said before about reinventing yourselves, probably personally and individually, as well as in the duo, reinventing the duo along the way. I love how you talked about that, because that's inspiring to me. I think that you can get a little bit like there's not murky waters, but stagnant, I guess. And I think it's really important to raise your energy and keep reinventing.
It's our middle name, baby. It's evolving.
I think it's beautiful. I think it's magical, and I don't know how to explain it, but I'm so motivated by that. I mean, because I love change as well, but also especially when you have some conditioning in this industry, or in where we are in our ecosystems and things, and we're learning off other people, that it's really hard to change your brand because people won't understand to follow, and they just don't get it, or they just like, oh, where's she gone, and not being able to keep up with that. But reinventing in a way where you're still there, but you're layering upon. I think that is what's really inspiring to me.
Em and I like to talk about it as diamonds, don't we, Em? We say that women are multifaceted diamonds. When you look at your diamonds, they've got loads of different edges, loads of different faces, and they just are all of the different hats we wear, the different passions that we have. The bits that we want to bring into our lives, in a brand, as personal brands, that's what we are. That's who we are. Your brand is the person that you are, and it's allowing yourself to bring all of those different parts of you forward. And as you grow as a person, there's going to be another facet, another bit of sparkle that comes to your diamond that you might want to bring to the front that maybe you didn't want to at the beginning. But as your confidence grows, you're allowing yourself to bring more in, or you're learning about something else and you bring that in. Like I'm learning HD and allowing that to come forward. So it's allowing each piece to come forward and not, dimming your light to hide those bits.
Yeah.
And that's what we love to help people do. And Emma's brilliant at being able to pull that out of people and showing them how they can use all of those pieces in their brands to make it a beautiful, unique brand. Because I think that's one of the things that people come to us and they're like, oh, but how do I stand out from a crowd? And it's always the uniqueness that's going to make you stand out from the crowd. And the more of those different parts of yourself that you bring to the front, the more you're going to connect with other people.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
We should probably explain, actually, like the Limitless CEO is like the whole movement that we created was around redefining what a CEO is for a woman in business. And our reinvented, so I mean, we started with the whole reinvention piece in the beginning as part of our movement, was that we wanted to reinvent the word CEO because we were highly triggered by the stereotype from having had corporate careers. Like we didn't like that whole stereotype of, this like white, middle-aged guy in an office suit, like doing the whole CEO thing. Like that just didn't, that wasn't resonant for us. So our version of CEO actually stands for consciously evolving owner. So that's what it's all about. And when Ali was saying like evolving is our middle name, like that's actually part of our brand, is this whole, like, first of all, it's the consciously piece, which is all around like everything we do with like huge intention. And the evolving is like, we are so devoted and committed to our own evolution, and like we're constantly reinvesting in ourselves and our own personal growth. So it's inevitable that is then going to like ripple into our brand as well, because our brand is a reflection of us. So the fact that we're growing so much and bringing all these new shiny sides of us, as Ali described it, like our brand couldn't possibly stand still when we're moving so quickly. And then the O is all about owner, being the owner, taking ownership and responsibility for yourself and your life and your decisions and where you're going. So I guess like it's inevitable that we're going to always be evolving quite quickly. And there's already been a couple of iterations of our brand and we're only 12 months in. So
wow.
I love that quote that you need to keep evolving, like if you're not standing still. That's so true.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a big part of my journey being an entrepreneur and like starting my own business and being a personal brand and wanting my business to be who I am, is that I learned early on that, there's no end point. It's not like, yes, I've nailed my branding and I've nailed my message and I've nailed all of the things. Like it's always evolving and changing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I love that you've redefined the word CEO, because since Ali bounced into my world not so long ago, oh my gosh, I felt like she entered my world with red sequin pants on. And we worked together. It was amazing. And
Brilliant.
when she told me about your brand and, the Limitless CEO and what CEO meant for you, I was like, hell yeah, I'm a CEO. And I've actually put that in my bio now. I'm like, I've claimed it. I'm like, I am a CEO, because I was like you. I was like, I don't want to be a CEO because I'm not a middle-aged white man. Like that's, ball buster. Like that's the imagery that we get when we hear, words like that. But taking ownership of our businesses and our branding and like what we're doing in the world is so super powerful. And I absolutely love that you call it the Limitless CEO, because we're limitless. Like there's no
box. We're not in a box. We're not in a glass office. We take our CEO, like I love seeing all of your pictures on the beach. I mean, how gorgeous is that? All the time. We can be CEOs anywhere. And that's what the whole piece of the redefinition of CEO is we want to help women predominantly, create lives and businesses that they love, businesses that they're wildly in love with because of the way that they're doing it.
Yeah.
And then that gives them an income to support the life that they love as well, so that they can experience that richness in life, whether that be travel or food in my case, anything is being allowed to taste every single part of life that we're here on this planet. I lost my mum 6 years ago, and that was a huge defining point in my life, was just like, oh my God, we are, I don't think you ever realize it until it's somebody who's very close to you. You actually go, oh my God, life is finite. There will be an endpoint, and I've only got however much time I've got to experience everything that I'm going to be able to experience. And you're like, right, I'm going to go out and get it. And that's richness of life. It's being able to experience it for ourselves. And then Em and I obviously have got kids like you guys, and it's like, well, I want them to experience it as well. I want to leave a legacy that they have memories that they can remember of what it was like with me, and I want them to have a legacy that they can carry on enjoying life when I'm not here. And that's the whole wealth creation piece, isn't it? I want to leave enough for them to carry on.
Yeah, that's it. One of your main topics in your website and things, like, it's your right to be rich. I love that, and playing to win. Yes. Do you want to expand on that?
Yes.
She gets excited. I love it. It excites me so much.
I think the right to be rich, it's so powerful, isn't it? And Em hugely helped me, because when I first came to work with Em, I had a really poor money mindset. It was head in the sand, don't want to think about it. I grew up as the daughter of a bank manager. I've married into a family of accountants. It's like they just dealt with the money. I earned plenty of money. So it was just like, I earned loads of money in my corporate career. Money was never really an object. But it was looking at it, talking about it, didn't really want to go there. So when it was like, James said to me, you've got to start earning some money, and I actually had to start looking at it, that absolutely terrified me.
Yeah.
And it was Em helping me really look at it and see myself as a CEO and start to rewrite my money story and rewrite my beliefs. And now I'm like, oh, well, money's just money. Money comes, of course it does.
Yeah.
And it feels so good. But I don't think that I'm unique in my beliefs in coming to into money, especially for female entrepreneurs. There's huge blocks in terms of, I can't do this, I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, no one's buying from me, that makes me even worse, this isn't working, and then everybody just gives up. So it's a huge piece of the puzzle in how we help people move forward, the strategies, but also the mind and the energetics around it.
Yeah, for sure. And it's really those things that our conditioning, growing up, and the people around us, and the eras we're growing up in with our money mindset. But it's still prevalent, like it's still there, and it's still on our feeds with other women bringing down other women. And that's that I don't know, it's unsettling, but it's also okay. We like getting yourself into a space and amongst people that feel the same way as you, and doing that work to move through that, and blocking that without the guilt and the shame. There's so much guilt and shame attached to that.
Yeah, I think it's really like, it's a really important part of our brand that we want to see money and wealth in the hands of good women, because we know that good women will be a force for good with money when they have it. And I think it's just helping them to reframe the fact that, like, putting good people in power with money is only going to be a good thing for the world.
Exactly.
Like, as far as we're concerned, there are too many people in power with money that aren't doing good with it. So let's flip that on its head. And whenever you ask a woman, what would you desire that money for, what did you desire wealth for, they'll give you like 10 things that has nothing to do with themselves, that has to do with everybody else around them, because women are like selfless in that respect. They're always thinking about their children or their families or whatever. And we're like, great. And that is exactly why you should have money, because you are going to be that force for good with it when you have it. And I think also that, like, when we think about like this right to be rich, like, rich isn't just about the amount of money in the bank. It's what Ali was talking about earlier. It's richness of life. It's being able to experience life to its absolute fullest, to have the resources available that you can do what you want to do, go where you want to go, like live your life the way that you want to. Like, that's richness. It's not just like the pound signs or the dollar signs. It's about the experience of and the depth that we get to go to in life when we have the available resources for us. You also asked about playing to win as well. This is our mantra for the year. And I think for us, this was like, we're not in this to just not lose, to not like, we're not doing everything from a place of, I don't want to fail, which is often like, this is what a lot of female entrepreneurs like get stuck on, is like, I'm so scared to fail. I'm so scared to fail. This was like, do you know what? We are going to fail forward really fast, because every time we fail forward really, really fast, we learn something, we get better, we're stronger, we're more resilient. We fucked up so many times over the last 12 months, but like, honest, we have. But every single time it's like taught us something. It's improved the business. It's improved us as women as well. So it's this whole idea of like, we are on the playing field and we're not there just to be there. Like, we want to win. Like, if that means like getting hit a million times by whatever's coming our way, then so be it. But we're just going to keep on getting back up and going again. That's playing to win.
It's beautiful. So inspiring. I love the parallels here, ladies. Like, I love the work you guys are doing with the work that Paula and I are doing at the moment. This is extraordinary. And I think when the power's in the numbers, right? The power's in the numbers with how many, like the collective being together with very similar messages. And you're right. It's just like, wealth, health in the right hands. It's going to do some massive changing in the world as we know it now.
I think we're really, really fortunate. I feel like I'm at the moment it feels like everybody in my world, I suppose, is in this like space of coaching and mentorship and feminine power and moving into this new shift, new way of working. But I know that we're such a minority. we're still an incredible minority. It feels like everybody that I see on my social media feed is talking about the same things, and I love that. And it's like, yes, we're all like, there's a drum beat going, and it's getting louder and louder and louder. But I live in North Yorkshire, where this is really like unheard of, and nobody really like knows it, and they like really don't understand what I'm talking about, and they question, and they're like, you're doing what now? And it's like, but I know that this is so small over here in the UK that it's only going to get bigger.
Yeah.
And that to me is incredibly exciting.
That's very exciting. So exciting. It's really interesting to see. It's funny when you say that, because because I've been in this world for so long, and I'm going to say the world online space and women in business, right? And my feed is just full of that, full of all these extraordinary women. And so it's like that sometimes you got to like pinch yourself or just wake yourself up and go, there's other things happening outside of the world that's, so it feels massive for me. It feels huge for me. But really, you're right. It's just like we're only just beginning.
Yeah, we really are. And I think, Em and I we can be open. You said warts and all, the last couple of weeks, month or so, it's been like, oh my God, everyone else is talking about the 7 figures and the 8 figures and all of the big, big, big wealth. And it's like, oh, but nobody wants to hear about us and what we're doing over here. But it's like, actually, over here, what we're doing is massive compared to what the majority of people are doing. Like that first health coaching conference that we went to, people just wanted to know how I'd got a client. One.
Yeah,
how
wow.
did you get a client?
Yep.
And they put me up on stage because I had 17 clients. And I was like, well, I just started talking about it online and inviting people to come and work with me. And they're like, how? So when I went to Em and I said, well, James says I've got to earn some money now, but how do I do that? Do you think I can earn about £1,000, £2,000 a month? And she was like, oh my God, yeah, Ali, there are people making millions a month. I'm like, what? Like, it blew my mind. So it's really we have curated this world of incredibly wealthy CEOs that are nailing it, but there's so many people who have no idea about this at all and what we're creating.
I know, it's nuts.
It's amazing.
It is amazing. It is amazing, and that's why there's room for everyone. I'm just gonna pause here, just because Paula's having difficulties. She's just gone. I think her internet's a bit buggered, but it's still recording.
We were just talking about how our world, although it feels big to us, it's actually small in comparison to like the whole world.
Oh yes,
we're still such a, although it's going to be what I think they're saying it's 20 billion or something is the coaching industry, but that's still so incredibly small. And in the UK particularly, I don't know what it's like in Australia, but from where I see it looks like it's probably bigger and further ahead of where we are in the UK. That's just my impression. I don't know the stats.
Yeah, I'm not sure of the stats either, but I do like, where, the ecosystem that we're in is very much US and Australian women. So it's like kind of like we're in the same kind of, statistics, I guess. But yeah, this is why I realized that there's room for everybody. When people are thinking about, oh, but it's so hard to do because all these competitors, and we have actually done an episode on the competitive spirit, but it's like, how do we get in? Like that confidence, just like there's so much room. There's so much room for change, for supporting, for healing. There's, there's so a massive movement happening right now.
Yeah, I feel like we're just pioneers of it, really.
Yeah,
like this is still such a young industry, and there's so much, like you say, that what is that, 7 billion people in the world or something, and even though we feel like we are like immersed in it all the time, like we're just a drop in the ocean, really, in terms of like where it could go.
That's it.
And that's really exciting, actually, to be like starting like as one of those, I guess, founders, really, of an industry that is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Absolutely.
Let's face it, there's enough people to help in the world.
Exactly. And how exciting, like it's really exciting to see the changes in women and women leading themselves now and saying, I've had enough of the stereotypical things, I'm ready now to change things, and it's just getting bigger and bigger. I think it's just brilliant. And just like that, oppression and, very similar, Ali, that, I had a marriage breakdown in 2016 also. And, coming from pre 2016, it was very much a controlled environment where, and earning my own money and being independent was just the pre then. I would never have thought that would even exist. Like that wasn't for me. Like I'm not that girl. I wasn't born into this world to have that kind of life. That's for other people. And then after, as just, healing and personal development and becoming a personal development junkie and just really, just finding myself and learning all these modalities and these things and the energetics and just going, oh my gosh, look what I've just created now in 6 years. Look where I am. And me, just little on me, that kind of thing. But and I'm seeing now that that's millions of me are starting to change and just lift that oppression and lift, that thing where it's like their confidence and their bravery and showing their children and the ripple effect of that and the healing for, the mother wounds and the sister wounds and for our children. Like we're creating change for our kids, and that is what lights me up.
Yeah, the legacy piece I think is
massive.
I suppose if anyone's listening to this podcast who's thinking, oh, I'd love to get into that, I would say do it.
Yes.
Jump in now. And I would just say follow your curiosity. And I imagine just from hearing from you, Shona, and I know M's story, it's just like, and mine, I just followed my curiosity. I was like, what are they talking about? What is that?
Yeah.
My first book was The Secret. I was like, I've no idea what you're all talking about. I'm going to go read The Secret. And then I was like, oh my God, what?
Yeah.
And then it was like, then I just got that whole thirst for, well, if that's really true, I need to go and find out a bit more. And then I just followed my curiosity. And I've said that to previous clients before. If you're not sure, just find something that just intrigues you a little bit and go and learn about it.
Yeah.
And then just keep going. And then you'll suddenly find yourself in one of the most beautifully immersive worlds possible.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's right. It's a whole other world.
Yeah.
How did you find with your husband's partners, were they on board straight away, or did it take a little bit of work?
For this duo partnership or for us coming into the industry?
Into the industry, yeah.
Okay. Well, I was already in the industry before I met my husband, so he had to kind of like take me as he found me. But he's always been he was always fascinated with what I did when I first met him, and he wasn't in the personal development space at all. In fact, he worked in counterterrorism, like we're just yin and yang. But since we've like come together, he's now like the transformation in his life is unreal, really. I mean, he's now in a very senior position in a big global company, which he never thought was possible for him. And a lot of that has been through like not me trying to get him involved at all. I've never ever tried to get him involved. I've just been me doing my thing, and it's he's paid attention, and he got massively into personal development and leadership, and a lot of that has been then taking him through into his corporate career as well. And from transitioning from the forces into that kind of role has probably been a lot of kind of rubbing off, I guess.
This is the thing,
and he'll say that himself as well. He'll literally be like, I would not be where I am today if it hadn't been for the work that you do, which is really nice as well. So that makes me feel really proud that like he's just witnessed and be like, gonna have me a piece of that as well.
Oh, that's amazing, Em. I love that.
Whereas my family think I'm completely nuts, surrounded by my crystals and my piles of books, and they come in and they just think, oh, Mum's doing her woo-woo shit again, and just like leaving her to it.
Oh, I know, I get it.
But I'm just like, they just know that that's just part of me, and just like Em says, it's not forcing it on them. It's just like, this is who I am. You don't have to believe it. This gives me massive comfort in has helped me through some really, really difficult times. So it helps me. And I think the biggest thing is if I'm at peace with it and if I love it and I'm not questioning or forcing it on anybody else, then they just accept it. Whereas if I was trying to force it on them, they would kind of like be probably a lot more standoffish or prickly or push it away. But very similar to Em, even like the whole personal development piece. James now has a stash of personal development books on his bedside table. They might not be the same kind of personal development books that I have, but they're definitely more mind expanding and moving away from the like John Grisham type books and things like that. They're definitely like he loves Zig Ziglar. He goes and mows the lawn and he's listening to Zig Ziglar.
How cool is that?
And he comes up, did you know that Zig Ziglar said this? I'm like, oh, well, yes, I did, but I'm not going to tell you that.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Yeah, it's really fascinating because my current, my partner, he's the same, very similar. It's just all opened up this whole new world, and it's been very enriching to have conversations. Like we get to talk about this stuff, and some, and I'm sure my mum and dad, my parents would be going, "What are they on?" But yeah, it's beautiful. It's a lovely evolution.
Yeah. It's just conversations, isn't it? It's just nice to have the conversations, and it's not about who's right and who's wrong. It's just let's discuss.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. So what have you got going right now, guys, as we wrap this up? And for anyone that's listening and going, where's Paula? She's disappeared. She's disappeared, but it's still recording. And the poor thing, she's been so unwell with her current little spicy thing. So but yeah, anyway, so like what is happening in your world right now? And we'll have actually links to your things in our show notes.
Oh, thank you.
But where can people find you and what's on offer?
I think the best place to find us is probably two parts depending on where you are, but we have an Instagram account which is @for the Limitless CEO, which is we put a lot of free content out there. But the best place to hang out is in our private community, which is also the Limitless CEO, and that's on Facebook. So that would be a great link. We have loads of free trainings every week. We jump on in and do a masterclass on something. It could be a challenge that we've been through that we want to share so that other people don't fall down the same kind of like rabbit hole or sometimes great big like crevasse. We'll tell them about where we've just been and climbed ourselves out of. So that's probably the best place to hang out, where we have loads of fun. Today we went in and we did a bit of a celebration, obviously, because we realized that we just jumped into the multiple six figures. We've also just welcomed our 500th women into the community. So we've done a bit of a prize giveaway. So there's 500 UK pounds in Limitless CEO currency to spend on any of our programs for anyone who comes into the group. So we've done a bit of fun stuff. It's all happening in there, isn't it, really? That's where I would direct people. That's where I would say to go. You're the strategist, though. I've just been like waffling on. What should we be telling them? You've probably got a whole script of what I should have said.
Yes, like we do a ton on social media, and we love to do like free trainings, masterclasses, and things inside of our community. We're big on that. We love for people to come in and experience our duo coaching energy, because I think it's quite a unique thing if you haven't experienced that, like from two coaches, two in one. So that's definitely the place to be. In terms of like what we've got coming up, so over the last few months, we've actually been our original signature program was the Well Balanced Business, and this is like our business strategic growth program. And what we've actually been doing over the last few months is breaking that down into 4 individual programs that people can come in and actually like take the piece of the program that they're most interested in. So we started off with the Curator and the Creator, which is our brand strategy program. So, if you want to get clear on your message, build an incredible online brand, like that's the first piece of the puzzle. And then we went into Socially Savvy, which is our social media program, of course, as it says on the tin, just helping people like navigate the social landscape and get confident, being visible, and what content to create, and how to like really put yourself out there and grow your audience. So that's the second part of the puzzle. And then last week we filmed live a new program called Fully Booked, which is a sales and launch program. So we actually share our ABC launch strategy, as we're calling it, and like teaching people like how to get really comfortable with sales as well. And there's like a big piece on the money piece as well, in terms of like, how do you receive money?
Yeah.
And then we are filming in a couple of weeks' time the final piece of that jigsaw, which is the Freedom Coach. And this is where we're actually going to teach people how to build out that multiple six-figure business model, and then how to actually create their programs and services within that. So there's like
it's a very cool model. It's a very cool model, by the way. The cool model that we're going to be teaching in the next one is one that Em wrote when she was coming up on the train to see me for when we did our very first VIP retreat here. I also got a property business. We've got luxury holiday lets in the garden, and people came up to stay, and Em was like, oh God, you need to train them on something really good. And we'd actually she wrote it for us. We just worked it all out. She's like, right, we're going to teach them the well-balanced business matrix, which is how you can continue to generate a recurring income, a passive income, and also overflow money, but at the same point have the right types of offers for all of your clients. Meet them where they're at, whether they want focus, whether they want entry, or whether they want high flight. So we teach them that model, which is what we've been implementing, which means that we can have time off, which means we can work 3.5 days a week, which means we generate income. Yeah. It's a really, I mean, Emma's just a genius. That was a really, really fun model. Yes.
No.
Take the compliment.
Oh, all right then. Okay, yeah.
Take the compliment. So we're going to be teaching that in Freedom Coach, and how you can create and package your program. So that's going to be seriously fun in a couple of weeks. And how we
just wholesome, ladies. Wow.
Yeah. Like there's a lot on the shelves right now. But yeah, I guess just come into the group and be in all of it, and try stuff on and see what fits.
I love that. You're so generous. I can't believe you do masterclasses like weekly and things weekly in your group. That's beautiful. I love that.
Thanks. We just love what we do, and as we've grown so quickly, we've got so many things to talk about. Whether that's been a good thing or not a bad thing, it's just like let's just go and tell everybody.
Yeah, that's what I said to Paula. Like, we've got a lifetime of things to talk about, so we're never going to run out. Oh, I love it. It's so
struggle to contain it sometimes.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah,
that's it. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
For having us. Edit that out, Paula. Mate,
you need to go back to bed.
Oh my goodness. Thank you for being on. We've loved it. I'm sorry Paula's missed the last 3 quarters. But yeah, we'll put everything in the show notes, and we'd love to have you on again. It's a beautiful conversation. Yeah. And
I love that. So much more to talk about.
Yeah,
thank you for having us. It's been so gorgeous. Thank you.
No worries at all.
Wow,